Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Itron Utility Week and our Energy Efficiency and Water Conservation track. We are also welcoming our live online audience because this session is being streamed to people around the world through our media sponsor for Itron Utility Week, that's Green Tech Media. So today, it's my pleasure to introduce Brandy Anderson, who heads up pricing programs and customer services at Southern California Edison. And she's going to tell you about how Southern California Edison is taking dynamic pricing and peak time rebates in particular to the residential mass market and scaling it. And one of the things she's going to talk about is how getting all this right is important, calculating the benchmarks, applying accurate billing determinants, and how the whole business process comes together using the new technology, using the data, so that this seems very easy and transparent to the end consumer. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brandy Anderson, and look forward to her presentation, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brandy Anderson, and I'm going to walk you through, from the agenda perspective, I'll talk a little bit about Southern California Edison and our AMI deployment, and then give an overview of our demand response portfolio, and then move into our peak time rebate program, which is also called the Save Power Day programs. I'll give an overview of the program and talk about some work we're doing to couple the program with enabling technology, talk about the incentive calculation and some of the results that we've seen, and more importantly, talk about our lessons learned and what we've been doing to make some changes to the program to make it better going forward, and then finally end with where we are in 2014 with the program. Going backwards, let's go forward. Okay, all right, so as it relates to Southern California Edison, we're one of the largest investor-owned utilities in Southern California. We have a 50,000 square foot mile territory, and we serve 180 cities, 15 counties, and we have 5 million electric meters and 14,000 employees, headquartered in the beautiful Rosemead, California. In terms of our AMI deployment, we completed our AMI deployment in 2012, and through that deployment, we converted all of our residential meters, and we're collecting hourly interval data and presenting that to customers next day on our SCE.com website. We also converted all of our small and medium business customers' meters. Those are the less than 200 kW meters, and are collecting and presenting 15-minute interval data on our SCE.com website daily. Another thing that we've been doing to leverage the interval data that we're collecting is that we're also calculating and presenting customized cost information for customers. So what we'll do is we'll take the interval data and pair that with the tariff schedule that they're on, and we will calculate a bill to date and a bill forecast for every customer on a customized basis and present that on SCE.com daily. Additionally, customers can sign up to have that information pushed to them through our budget assistant program, so we can push their bill to date and bill forecast information through a text, email, or voice. They can choose whichever option they prefer. And then, importantly, through our AMI deployment now, it enables us to offer time differentiated rates to all of our mass market customers. So today I'll be speaking about the peak time rebate program, but additionally, it obviously enables TOU and critical peak pricing rates as well. But I'll be focusing today on our peak time rebate program. All right. Want to provide a quick overview of our demand response portfolio. Southern California Edison has a quite large demand response portfolio with over 1,300 megawatts. It's 75% of the load comes from our business customer programs, and with the deployment of smart meter technology, we're now able to grow our presence in the residential space. So right now, from a load perspective, it only represents about 25% of our load, but it's definitely an area that we're focusing on and continuing to grow. From a customer perspective, though, you can see the volumes of customers that are engaged in those programs is quite significant. So we have a lot of support processes in place to make sure that we're providing good customer service for the hundreds of thousands of residential customers that are on our programs. Okay, so let's talk about the PTR program. What we have named this program is the Save Power Days program. And this program we launched in 2012. And basically this is a program that is applicable to all residential customers. The sort of challenge that we had with this program is that the program is embedded in the customer's domestic service rate, their residential service. So when we installed the smart meter and it became operational, the customer was automatically enrolled on the program. So our challenge was to let customers know that they were actually on a program, to educate them about the program and about how they could save money and reduce usage on the program. So participation on the program is voluntary. Individual event participation is voluntary. It's a no penalty program. It's a carrot-only program. Events can be called weekdays, and the time frame is fixed. It's from 2 to 6 p.m. And we provide day-ahead event notification to customers. They can choose which channel they would like to receive their event notification, whether that's email, text, or voice. And then from a baseline perspective, what we're doing is calculating the 3 highest in the 5 most recent days, and that's the comparison point by which we compare the usage during the event day. From a credit perspective, we provide 75 cents per kilowatt hour reduced during that 2 to 6 time frame. And then additionally, we have a program for customers that have enabling technologies, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a subsequent slide. But those customers receive additional incentives when participating in events. They receive $1.25 per kilowatt hour reduced during events. And again, as I mentioned, there's no penalty for non-performance on this program. So customers, if they reduce, they see an incentive on their bill, and no penalties for non-participation. Okay, so what we've been doing also, as I mentioned on the previous slide, is coupling our program with enabling technology. And so as we've been learning about and watching market trends, what we've really been able to see is that at this point there's 2 paths into the home. Originally, we were focusing and building around the meter connected path into the home, so taking the smart meter paired with Zigbee and then coupling that with either an in-home display or a thermostat. And so we have spent some time doing that. We have examples of in-home displays and PCTs that are operating and participating in programs. To date, I gotta get a little closer to the slide here. There's about 850 customers with these types of devices in their homes. In some cases, we're pushing usage information to customers. In other cases, we're actually providing them dollar information as well. And so we have been focusing have some experience on the meter connected path to the home. As well, there's a lot of opportunity that we've been seeing in the marketplace for internet connected devices as well. At the outset when we rolled out our smart meter program, this wasn't something that was in a growth area, but since then it certainly has been. And so we've been what this opportunity does is we leverage relationships with third parties who already have installed bases of energy related products and services in customers' homes, and we pair their offering with our program and then that's the offer to the customer. So in 2013, we did a study with a couple of third parties, Nest and Energy Hub, and had some pretty good success with that. We signed some contracts and enrolled about 3,000 customers in that program. And basically, the customer interfaces with the third party. They enroll in the program through the third party website. From our perspective, we pay the third party a small acquisition fee to enroll the customer on our Save Power Day program. And then the third party does co-branded marketing of their product and our program together. So, and I'll talk a little bit about the results that we've seen in some subsequent slides. So we really think there's some good opportunity here to take a program and couple it with enabling technology. We've are sort of in the infancy of studying what this looks like, but have some good findings and intend to build on those going forward. Okay. All right, the incentive calculation. So as I mentioned earlier, there are so many different types of baselines that could be selected. I think about 20 different baselines were studied in the development of our Save Power Day program, but the one that we ended up selecting was the 3 and 5 baseline. So looking at the 3 highest usage days in the past 5 non-event, non-holiday weekdays, and then calculating an average, and then that's the comparison point for the usage from the 2 to 6 time frame during the event day. And as I talked about before, from the base incentive is 75 cents per kilowatt hour, and then if a customer has enabling technology, then the incentive is more at $1.25 per kilowatt hour. I wanted to share a little bit about what we've done on our website as well. An important part of program is making sure customers are aware of the program, understand how they're performing on the program so that they can be engaged with it. And so what we've done on our My Account is for the Save Power Day program is if a customer logs into their My Account service and looks at their usage, they'll be able to see indicators on the usage pages where there were event days. And then as well, there's a tab in there that is called Incentives. And when you drill into that tab, then a customer can see for a particular billing period, it will show them how many incentives they earned on the program, or they can also look at a 12-month basis as well. So for a year, how much did they save on the program? So we think that this is an important thing. It's come out of our research on the program that customers want to understand how much they're saving on the program. It's not as clear as customers would like it to be from the bill, how much they're saving on the program. And so this is definitely a resource that we can drive customers to help them understand how they're performing on the program. So let me spend a few minutes talking about the results. As I mentioned earlier, we launched the program in 2012. It is a default program. So what that, as I talked about earlier, what that means is customers are automatically enrolled on the program when their smart meter is operational. And so we had 3.8 million customers that were eligible to receive incentives during 2012. And we had 475,000 of those customers that were enrolled to receive individual event notifications. So this was a service that we encouraged customers to opt into so that they knew that events were happening. We weren't seeing as much uptake as we wanted to see when we were rolling out the program in 2012. So what we ended up trying was for all the customers that were signed up on our My Account service that we had active emails for, we automatically enrolled them to receive event notifications. And so that's what that 66% refers to is we automatically enrolled a subset of the 475 to receive event notifications. So we would let them know via email on a day-ahead notification, day-ahead basis, that there was going to be an event for the following day. So originally with when the program, I forgot to mention this, when we were planning the launch of this program, it was intended that the program was going to be coupled with mass media. So we would broadcast events through mass media channels, and as it turned out that we didn't end up moving forward with that for a variety of different reasons. So really the emphasis changed to making sure that customers were enrolled in event notifications, because if they weren't, then they wouldn't understand that events were happening, and we would be paying incentives to customers who were enrolled in a program and not aware that there were events. So we called 7 events in 2012, and we paid $25 million in incentives. So we paid incentives to the 3.8 million customers, 475,000 enrolled in event notifications, but the 25 corresponds to the 3.8 million. And then from an enabling technology perspective, at the initial rollout, we were just focused on the in-home displays. When we moved into 2013, it again remained a default program. We had had our 2012 experience. We decided to continue rolling with that experience in 2013 and build additional learnings. At that point, we had 4.2 million customers eligible to receive incentives. We had stepped up our efforts to try to get customers enrolled in day-ahead event notification, and at that point, we had 746,000 customers enrolled. 78% of them, though, had been automatically defaulted to receive those. So again, if we had an email on file for them, we automatically enrolled them and let them know that they were now receiving or they were on the program and would be receiving notification. We called 5 events during 2013 and paid $24 million in incentives to that 4.2 million customers. And at that point, from an enabling technology perspective, we had added in thermostats to the base of technologies that we were coupling with the peak time rebate program. Okay, so from a lessons learned perspective, what we found out is that when we started looking at the load impact results, that customers who were auto-enrolled in the program, so those that we automatically enrolled if we had their active email address, consistently underperformed those who voluntarily opted in. When we did our first load impact study, the results showed that those that were automatically enrolled, that their results were not statistically different than 0 from a load impact perspective. So that was definitely a key learning that we needed to take with us moving forward. From customer survey results, definitely showed us that there were opportunities to improve program awareness. As I talked about, this is a program where customers were automatically enrolled in it when when their smart meter was operational. And so while we were out there getting the message out to everyone that they were on this program, there still was pretty low levels of awareness in the program. They were less than 50% awareness in the program, so definitely opportunities to improve. And then also we heard from customers that they really wanted to understand how could they succeed on the program. It wasn't very clear to them specifically what did they need to do to save money on the program. So there were opportunities there. What we also found is that the program, combined with direct load control, yielded more significant load reduction results than without the technology. So the third-party study that I mentioned with Nest and Energy Hub, we definitely saw higher load impact results from participation when those third parties would receive the signal and they would moderate the customer's AC usage or whatever other treatments they were doing in the customer's home. Those were yielding more significant impacts. So that was definitely something that we wanted to pursue going forward, is looking at growing those third-party partnerships. In terms of messaging and targeting, what we determined is that the performance results of the program could definitely be enhanced if we did better target marketing of the program. So we're collecting all this interval data. We understand what these customers look like, what their load shapes are. We should not be targeting customers that don't have load during the 2 to 6 time frame for this program. And so we just needed to be smarter about our targeting instead of, blanketing out to the residential customer base to try to get them to enroll in the program, being more targeted and strategic about the types of customers that we were approaching with this offering. We also figured out that we could calculate program incentive potential at a more granular level. When we first rolled out the program, based upon what we thought the experience was going to be, we had marketed the program as you could save $200 per summer. As we got into it and customers were basically saving on average $3 per event, that $200 didn't seem like such a good tagline. So for the following summer, we had changed it to $100, but again, when you have some folks that are on the program that have very low baselines and they don't have anything to drop, their ability to achieve $100 savings is really, there's not a lot of potential there. So as we move forward, we may think about how we can integrate more customer-specific incentive potentials into the marketing so that we're considering that. And then another learning that we had was around the program name. I think everybody spends a lot of time figuring out what's the great idea on what you should name your program. So we spent a lot of time and effort and came up with this great program name called Save Power Day. It seems very intuitive to customers. However, we have a very similar program called the Summer Discount Plan program. And so everybody loves 3-letter acronyms. So even internally, SPD versus SDP, we're getting ourselves confused from a customer perspective. They're also confused. So definitely spending time thinking through what you name your program and how it fits in the ecosystem of other programs you already have is definitely important. So at this point in time, not sure exactly what we're going to do about that, but it's still an issue. Okay. So I talked about this a little bit from a lessons learned. We're seeing that there's a lot of value in leveraging this baseline calculation. So this is a calculation that gets performed on all of our accounts and it's stored in our system. And so as I talked about before, the CSRL is really the baseline value. And so if you're a customer that has, load shape number 1 or load shape number 4, as you can see in that 2 to 6 time frame, or maybe you can't see, it's the little red dots around there. There's not really a lot of load shedding potential during that time frame. So these customers may not be the right type of customers for the Save Power Day program. However, customers with load shapes number 2 and 3 may be a little bit more promising from a targeted perspective. And then as you can see in the blue, we've calculated some annual potential incentives. So this is if somebody dropped all of their load during the time, which isn't likely going to happen, but the incentives definitely vary. So this gets to, now that we have this data, we could do better marketing to customers more specific around what their particular potential incentive experience could be. Yeah, I think that's it for that slide. Okay, just another look at this, again, leveraging the baseline. If we can spend time looking at our load data, it really can help us identify which programs are the right types of programs for customers. So these are just the same load shapes as the prior slide. So in the case of load shape number 1 and number 4, probably not a good candidate for the Save Power Day program. However, maybe a good candidate for a critical peak pricing rate. So we just are wanting to spend more time analyzing our data and using our data to help us target the right programs and right messages to customers. We love leveraging this baseline. Another just cut at this. We looked at 3.4 million accounts analyzed, and what we did here was we took their average CSRL value. We looked at the 3 PTR event days in 2013 and calculated an average CSRL value, assumed that we would run 12 events a year, and assumed similar usage patterns and weather patterns, and then put our customers in different categories. So we have almost 200,000 customers that are in a category of having a baseline of 20 or more. So their annual savings is getting up towards the $200. So those are the types of customers that we would want to try to target for our programs. And also the 12 or more. I think we have some research that shows that customers really are looking to save anywhere between $50 and $100 is something that motivates customers. So, you know, that's why the yellow highlight over the 6. As you start getting below that, it starts to be, this may not be the right type of offering for these customers from their perspective and from our perspective as well, spending the time and effort to acquire them on the program, and then there's not a potential for them to meaningfully contribute to the program. Okay, so here is where we are at in 2014. So given some of the lessons learned that I talked about, and also based on guidance from the California Public Utilities Commission, we transitioned the program to an opt-in program this year. So all of the folks that we had automatically enrolled in the program, and that effort to automatically enroll customers if we had their active email address, we're no longer doing that. We've stopped those efforts. We communicated out with everybody earlier this year that we had on the program and asked them if they wanted to remain on the program. And we've got 393,000 that affirmatively opted into the program. And so that is our program numbers now. And again, we're still focusing on the enabling technologies. We continue to partner with third parties such as Energy Hub and Nest to look at the potential. As I mentioned, we did see some good load impact results from those partnerships, and so we're definitely continuing to grow our efforts to build those relationships going forward. So those are all the slides I have prepared today. So happy to take any questions that you have about the program. Good.
Tom Moraldi from TVA. Do you have any admin fees that you charge, like on the customer charge, to recover your cost of developing the program?
So the fees associated with administering and developing the program, right. Yeah, we recover our costs for these programs through the demand response balancing account. So it is charged through on customer bills. There's all of our demand response programs, there is a level of costs that do get passed on to customers, all customers.
Were all the events that were called in 2012, 2013 summer events?
Yes, there may have been something in the May timeframe. I didn't bring the exact event days, but typically we are calling them just in the summertime.
Okay, is it a seasonal program? Could you call them any time of the year?
It's a year-round program, so there is the potential that it could be triggered outside of the summer season.
So then your summer peak demand program, which is the direct load control program?
The summer discount program.
Summer discount.
Yeah.
So that's the direct load control program that you control.
Yes.
Can they participate in both?
Yeah,
both
right
programs?
now you can dual participate on both programs.
So how do you decide what incentive to pay them if you do a direct load control anyway, and so you get the reduction down, and then you've got that peak period reduction obviously down because you control them. You don't pay them double, do you?
There's some capping mechanisms that are built into dual participation programs that account for that.
Okay, So that might be different than the 125 or not?
Yes, it could be different if they're participating in both programs and there's some, and the events happen to be on the same day and they happen to overlap. So all of those things have to line up.
I have one more question on the direct load control program. You guys have an option to curtail HVAC 100%, right?
Yes.
And do you know what fraction of your customers are on that?
I didn't bring those stats with me
Yeah,
today.
sorry, I know that wasn't the focus of your talk, but I was just curious. So.
Yeah, I can get you that information if you want, but I didn't bring it with me today.
Brandy, I was wondering in the course of your customer discussions and research if other motivations besides just the rebate incentive are in play and whether certain messaging resonates, such as keeping the grid stabilized, keeping the lights on during power, peak demand. What else works with customers and getting them to participate?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think for different segments, different messages definitely resonate. I don't think everybody is motivated simply to save money. There's others that are motivated around saving the environment and contributing to grid stability. So I think we try to balance the messaging so that it appeals to all of those different interests, and then where it makes sense to do segment-specific marketing that tailors the message, then we do that with some of our programs as well.
Brandy, you showed the results in 2013 and then I believe 2014 or 2012 and 2013
Yeah.
with the same amount of rebates paid out. What about the results in terms of power saved? Was it the same in each year?
That is a good question. I don't think I brought the overall load impacts. I think, trying to go back to the slide if I can find it. I think year 2012 was about 20 megawatts, and we're here projecting 31 megawatts, so it's slightly improving since our initial rollout.
And do you have projections then to continue to grow?
Yeah, we definitely are leveraging the baseline again to target the right customers. We definitely have plans to continue that effort. We just started this year to use that information to market better to customers, so that seems to have worked well, and we plan to continue to do that going forward with the program.
That's a great story, thank you.
Do you do any kind of geo-targeting in areas that are densely populated or areas where you may be looking at distribution congestion or anything like that, or is it just service territory-wide?
With this program,
With this program.
a service territory-wide program. We do have other programs that, when we call the program, it's called territory-wide. We have other programs that are can be more geo-targeted, like you're talking about. I mean, that's definitely something that could potentially be looked at going forward for this program, but right now it's territory-wide. Okay.
Well, I would like to thank Brandy for coming here and sharing information about her project and her expertise. And let's take a moment to give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone who's in the session here, as well as those who are attending online via the Green Tech Media streaming. We appreciate your time today. We hope this was valuable for you, and look forward to more events like this. Have a good day.